We're here with Kevin Jackson, new assistant coach at Michigan. Coach, congratulations on your new position. How's everything been going for you out there so
Thanks,
far?
Taylor. It's been going well. I'm making the adjustment. Obviously, it is an adjustment from the Freestyle International win back to the college scene. So it's been great so far. The coaches have kind of embraced me and kind of got me back into the swing of things.
Yeah, so what was the decision behind going back to Michigan?
Well, my parents still live in Lansing, Michigan. They're in their 80s. I haven't spent a ton of time with them over the last 40 years. Just had opportunity to get back, get around my parents, in their later years. Also, me and Sean Bormet have a great relationship. We spent time on the international circuit towards the end of my career, the beginning of his. And we also had the opportunity to coach our age level teams on several occasions. Most recently, our cadet world team, and that team had great success. And so me and Sean, we've always hit it off. We've always been great friends. And he just thought, if the opportunity presented itself, would I come back to college wrestling? I always thought it would be in the RTC as an RTC coach. But when his assistant coaching job became open, he called. He reached out, and it made sense.
Yeah, so you're going from full-time freestyle to, I'm guessing, full-time folk style now.
For sure.
So what does that new role look like?
Well, really, our coaching staff embraces it all, right? If you see what their RTC's done in the past, producing Olympians out of their club, and also a medalist in Miles Amin, they've done a great job. So it's going to encompass everything, but obviously. Being a college coach is at the forefront, bringing the right kids into the program, producing All-Americans and NCAA champions, and just continuing to help Sean do and build the things that he's already done, the things that he's built. But there's another level that Michigan wants to get to, and I think we're right on the verge of that. And we just have to keep it going, keep it rolling, keep doing the things that we know are correct for those things to happen.
You'll have a lot of recruiting in your new role. With your time here in Colorado Springs, you did a lot of recruiting of high school students for the EAP program. How is that going to help you, just being so into that? How is that going to help you at Michigan?
Well, I think if I would have been able to have these EAP athletes I recruited into Colorado Springs, if I had those guys coming to a university, we'd be a really good team right now. So the role doesn't change as far as the recruiting is concerned. Obviously, I'm recruiting to University of Michigan as opposed to Olympic Training Center, but there's a lot of similarities in that recruiting. It's identifying the best guy you possibly can get, the best athlete, the best student, the best person you could find, and showing him what Michigan's all about, and seeing how he will fit in the program, see how we could help him, and how he could help the program. And so recruiting is just a big part of it. The teams that get the best athletes, that get the best recruits, they perform the best at the NCAA championship. So we have to be in that game year in and year out. And so recruiting is a huge part of the sport.
I'm interested to have a little bit of inside look from your perspective now that you're back in a college setting. What's that been like for you? What does it look like every day for those guys? But then also at the same time, when you look at the RTC and all the talent that's there, what does that look like?
Well, I mean, at Michigan, like I said, that program encompasses it all. But I truly enjoy being in the wrestling room. I truly enjoy coaching, sharing techniques and tactics, and talking wrestling, and really focusing on being clear-minded, having an understanding about what it actually takes or feels like to wrestle at a certain level, and to connect to certain positions that are must-win positions. So the similarities with my EAP program in college wrestling is I had my EAP athletes every single day, training them full-time, and competing in several competitions in their pursuit to be the very best they can. That's similar to what I'm going to be doing at Michigan. We are training college athletes on a day-to-day basis, but within that structure, we have our RTC program, in which Sergey Beloglazov controls and runs, and has done a great job if you look at the results of those athletes. But we have some very, very special guys in that resident program, or that RTC program. You see, I'm still kind of connected to the Olympic Training Center and our resident program, but we have some special athletes within our RTC program. You're thinking about Derek White and Miles Amin and Malik Amin and Alec Derringer and Derek White. So we have those guys already in place, and with the graduation of several seniors this year, we're going to continue to build on that. And so I'm just really excited to be working with Sean and Josh and David at the University of Michigan, and trying to help them attain the goals that they told me they want to attain upon me arriving.
Yeah, it's a perfect transition into my next question. Just the minds that you'll be working around coaching wise. You mentioned Sergey, Sean, and the other assistants. You talk about the excitement it for you just to kind of get around different mindsets and,
Right.
and newer
And
approaches.
and you know, I've always had that opportunity, right, at USA Wrestling, working with Bill, working with Joe, working with Jeff Buxton, working with several coaches, you know, all the coaches from around the country, you know, that have strong RTCs, and the ones that have that are personal coaches for our senior level athletes. So I've worked with, I don't know, there's not too many coaches out there that I haven't worked with. So Sean and Josh, I've worked with both of those guys before. Josh went to Estonia with us. He coached Mason Parrish to a world championship over there in Estonia. Had really enjoyed our time together there. Sergey, I've worked with here at USA Wrestling. And Dave Bulliard, I'm just getting to know, but he's an excellent technician. He's an excellent coach. The kids love him, and he does a great job. Former Eastern Michigan's head coach, and so they have a great staff. Easy to get along with, and I think the bigger thing about a staff is a cohesive staff, and I feel like our staff is going to be really cohesive, communicating at a high level to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our student athletes and meeting the needs of our RTC athletes. And so so I'm really excited about what's already in place at Michigan, but what we can actually attain and what we can actually do as a staff together.
And I guess I'll close it out with just a little reflection on your time at USA Wrestling. You spent several years here over different periods of time, but with this most recent stint, like what will you take away from this most recent time at USA Wrestling?
Well, I mean, just the people. You know, I was at USA Wrestling. My first job was at USA Wrestling in 1997. I joined the staff and became the first resident coach at the Olympic Training Center. And soon after that, Bruce Burnett stepped down, and I became the national coach. And so there's people here at USA Wrestling that I've known or worked with for 25 years. And so I'll take that relationship with me first and foremost. The people that I've been around, the people that I've met over the last 5 years, I've had a chance to work with, yourself and several other employees here at USA Wrestling that I've gained relationships with that are going to span a lifetime, right? I mean, wrestling's a family. USA Wrestling is a close-knit family. And so for me to have the opportunity to work here and to be at the highest level, I couldn't ask for anything more. The plan for me was never to really leave USA Wrestling. I always thought I'd work for USA Wrestling and that would be my job for life, but it was never my plan. It was God's plan, and so God's led me to Michigan, and I'm really excited about that and the opportunities that presents itself in Ann Arbor.
Cool. And the last question, just what is maybe your favorite behind the scenes story from these last several years? It's been a lot of success,
Right.
freestyle wise, but
Right.
what's a moment that stuck out to you?
Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, I've had several exciting moments, from winning world championships with the team in 2017, just seeing Snyder bring that championship home for Team USA, and seeing Jordan just win his sixth world championship to Ty John Smith. Those things have truly been special to me, to see Jaden Cox win 2 world titles. I mean, there's just been moments that I've lived through, and I couldn't point to one. Cale Sanderson winning the gold medal, and me and Bobby Douglas being in his corner, and seeing Henry Cejudo capture his gold medal, and me and Terry in that corner. So Brandon Slade being my resident athlete here in Colorado Springs, not winning the NCAA championship and beating the great Satiev to win gold, or actually to knock him out of the championship rounds, and then Brandon goes on to be gold medalist. So I've had great experiences. My time here with the age group athletes has been special, right? From U15s to cadets to juniors. And like I said, I can't point to one, but seeing 4 guys win world championships at the cadet world championships a few years ago, and seeing Aaron Brooks bring his own flag to the world championships was special. A couple years ago, we had 3 guys wrestling at the same time. I think it was a quarterfinal or semifinal match, all having Iranians in those semifinals, and all winning those matches back to back to back. Gabe Tag and Tritt Headley and Hiley and David Carr. So just my experiences with those guys, and kind of really what's special to me is seeing the Gable Stevensons and the Yannis and the Vitos and the David Carrs and the Aaron Brookses and Greg Kurtfleets and Gabe Tags, seeing them have success at age group and then being in a position to be NCAA champions in their freshman year, and then having the opportunity or being in a position, having the skills and having the experience to really start challenging for world and Olympic titles. And you saw that with Gable this past year.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, we appreciate everything you've done. We're going to miss you lots, but we know we'll see you around.
Thanks, Taylor, for sure.